HamiltonRadio.net. What up? What's good? Say Q, Drew Smitty, Ron Committee, So Unique is back. Yeah. West Trent. Yeah. Hip hop lives through me, it came from the streets. Rhythm with a break beat, prove who can MC. Metaphors and techniques made you have to check me. My dialect connect peace, lyrics that are wet sheets. Spit it raw and sexy, shorty wanna F me. Swerving to the left beat, on the grind and stress free. Bust a shot of dead beef, hit him in the headpiece. Warned you not to test me, ice bars and Gretzky. Slide it in your wifey, all the women love me. A slight touch of grimy, slice and half a dime piece. Knuckle rapper 5-piece, high looking Chinese. Muay Thai on IP, vivid on your screen, eyes wide like high beams, too low to find me. Switching lanes like car thieves, Starsky and Hush trees. Roll up the best weed, firewater Hennessy, ginseng for energy. Holla mommy Ben Aki, he play hits. HamiltonRadio.net station, the Monk Show, I'm tuned in. He play hits. HamiltonRadio.net station, the Monk Show, I'm tuned in. He play hits. HamiltonRadio.net station, the Monk Show, I'm tuned in. He play hits. HamiltonRadio.net station, the Monk Show, I'm tuned in.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to this week's edition of the Monk Show. I am twisted already. I got some good news for you, but first let's start with this. I want y'all to welcome, I don't know how I should put this, new co-host, Z Vega. Vega.
Hey.
Yeah, she getting her feet wet. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me, Mom.
She was here last week.
Yeah.
Well, that was last week, right?
Yep.
That was last week. So she eventually will be doing her own show. So she's, getting the feet wet with this joint right here. And guess what? I got enough power for some background music. It gave me enough power that came on. Even though it's only 2%, but we're going to rock with that. Hey, Rube, give me the volume on the iPad. You heard me? All right. Because it finally came on, maybe I can. Oh, so I hear something. Maybe something turned up too high, bruh. Because I would like to have my background music. We got, there we go. But it's too much.
Static.
It's too much static, man. I don't know what that's about. Any way we could work on that? There we go. Thank you, sir. Because I like my little smooth background talk music. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so before we going to get into these videos and stuff, because we're going to do like current events tonight, this is more of an introduction for Miss Z Vega to get into the things of talking on the talk shows. And we're going to get loose, but I want to get her views on certain situations now. This video that we are going to view is about the 39 children that were caught, that were recovered in Georgia. So I want to hear your thoughts on, that situation. And you notice that, the media didn't pick it up.
Right.
So I want to get your thoughts on the situation because we did talk about some of this stuff last week.
Yes, we did. Well, actually, I just think that the sex trafficking is bigger than we know. There's a lot of heavy hitters involved, a lot of corporate political entities involved in all of that, and I don't want to go too deep in that just yet. We could get juicy, but it's Friday. That would be nice.
Perfect time hitter.
But I just believe for the 39 children, first off, I'm grateful that they were able to make it home safe to their families. Although I know that they have been through something, I can't imagine what it's going to take for them to become normal again. But yeah, I think it's a great thing that they were found because there's so many more children that are missing.
Right, that's just like if they caught them, then it's a lot more. See, the disgusting part is, don't feel like you you can voice your opinion. There's nobody gonna call in and say, "Hey, you can't say that. Hey, we're gonna shut you down." I mean, people be saying it, but they can't nobody shut us down. We our own bosses.
Right.
So that's the thing
That's
about
great.
having this where you can say what you want to say. Because I used to go to other talk show host shows and before I started mine, and they would try to screen some of the stuff I want to talk about, and I'd be pissed off about that. Like, come on, man.
Right. Yeah.
It's like if you got a voice
Use
and
it.
you working for somebody, you're using it for their own bidding. You can't
Right.
go on and say what you want to say. So that's the thing about Hamilton Radio. Why we got so many people here, because they could come say what they want to say in their own way, without having to be prohibited about no government mandates. Or you supposed to say this, or some political correct type of stuff.
Right.
So,
right.
like with this situation, this is one of the last forms of freedom of speech. I think it's just fucked up. Like, how
Yes.
in the hell we got all this stuff
Yes.
going on and ain't nobody talking about this?
Right.
So that show you that whatever going on with the media, they have selective things that they want to show. Because, like, we probably wouldn't have known about that if it wasn't for social media.
Right.
The social media catches the stuff that mainstream doesn't catch
Right.
through somebody just recording it, or a newscaster
Or an
from a
informant.
different state. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of the videos that we see just be people filming a lot.
Yeah.
So that's how we be seeing this stuff. But some of the stuff that should go viral doesn't.
Right.
So it makes it feel like, okay, this is what y'all with. Y'all are supporting this. When I say y'all, we talk about the higher ups, because y'all not saying nothing.
Right.
So it's becoming evident that this is the activity that you with.
Right.
But yet our lifestyle, us people on the bottom that just work, are trying to do, we aspiring to this lifestyle to what y'all got. Y'all got the money and everything, but this is what y'all doing. So
Right. Right.
we gotta, it gotta change, because our children are looking up to the wrong stuff.
Well, you're so right when you say that. I was just mentioning to you earlier, I have children 23, 19, 13, 10, and 1. So I have children spread throughout all age ranges. And I know what it's like for the peer pressures of society. I see what they go through on a day-to-day, and it's really sad. To kind of stand out and be yourself is so normal to be like everyone else, so they try to fit in, and these are the things that we get because the internet is trapping these kids. Roblox, TikTok, and it's so many pedophiles.
You seen the thing about the TikTok or about the Chinese thing?
Yeah.
It was hooked up with a Chinese company or something, and it was supposed to be like, if they get your information, and they were using it to like do trafficking and stuff
Yes.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the same thing with your driver's license.
Right.
If you put your donors on your license, like you want to donate a kidney, whatever, you put on a driver's license.
Yes.
Guess what?
Something will
They
happen.
no, they got well, exactly. They have a whole team of people that if a rich person needs a kidney or a heart or liver,
Right.
they go to that list of people.
Yes.
Because they got money, they could do that. They
Yeah.
can buy people out.
Mm.
So they see, well, oh, they got a healthy heart, whatever. They will then cause an accident.
Right.
Because by the time all of your driver's license information coming up, they can see where you work at. They can see your daily little things. Because the
Right,
driver's
right.
license got the chip in them now, so they could
Yep.
GPS that. You know what I mean?
So
Or
true.
they're down the highway. It's late now. You probably coming through the bar.
Yep.
Let's knock them off the side of the road with the truck or something.
So sad.
Make
but
it
it's
look
true.
like it's an accident,
Right.
but
right.
make it look like they died, but we need the heart.
Right. Right.
And when the police and what's that, the ambulance and all that stuff, coroner come on the scene, they already know what to do. They train for
Right.
every situation.
Right.
Well, oh, you're mangled up. Is the heart still good, or whatever
Mhm.
that particular body part?
Yep.
As soon as you get in the ambulance, they taking that stuff out.
Yeah.
If it's bad enough, like if you still living, then they'll wait till they can't get you like that. But if you like gone, and they just taking you off the ground, putting you in it, they doing that in the ambulance, and your organs will be gone before you get to the hospital.
Right. Right.
See, the deep part is you notice how you could be chilling with somebody, and if they pass away, you have, unless this is your spouse or something like that, family member, you can't say nothing no more. You know what I'm saying? Like the body's off to the other people. I've been dealing with that a lot. You know, people that chill around you, family members, and then they pass away, and then it's everybody else that you don't know.
Right.
You can't talk to that person no more. So this is the same thing with this media thing. It's like, man, you can't get the real truth. You see it, but you can't get the real truth. It's drawing up a frustration.
Right.
After a while, something else gonna happen. Like it's like they doing things, but they're not getting the response they want.
Right.
We ain't even, I think we wilding out enough for them. You know what I'm saying? Like we got this video. We got that video ready. Rue, you got something going on out there. We got that video ready. Wait a
You got to be a little patient.
I gotta be a little patient. I see it up on the screen.
I know. I'm getting to it.
All right. We gonna talk a little bit more then, because I thought it was ready to go. I was just, carrying it on a little bit. Look, okay, this is what we gonna do. We're gonna take a few minutes and let Z Vega tell you.
Georgia.
First of all, it's great news, but it's also deeply disturbing that this can still happen.
Founder of Justice for Children and former Harris County Chief Prosecutor Randy Burton.
Sex trafficking like that happening in Houston?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, as a matter of fact, we're considered one of the largest hubs.
And he's sounding the alarm for parents. He says they need to monitor their children's activity online to prevent human trafficking.
We've actually had a 19% increase in human trafficking cases of children here at my agency.
Precinct 1 Constable Alan Rosen says due to the coronavirus pandemic, children are spending more time online, which is a predator's paradise.
If a parent finds something suspicious, what action should they take?
Well, first of all, they should try to document everything, and if it does rise to the level of potential criminality, contact law enforcement.
And he says parents need to vet who their children are spending time with, as well as keep an open line of communication.
They have to be engaged. They have to have that talk with their children.
And Burton went on to say that parents need to remember to be parents, not necessarily friends of their children. Reporting live from the Children's Assessment Center, Vincent Crivelli, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Go out there, cuss him out. Let commercials run. You can't be letting the commercials run. Anyway, we're gonna continue where we left off. But like I was saying, that y'all see that situation where those kids, they didn't show the kids or nothing like that. I thought they was gonna, I guess, because they underage or whatever. So that should have been national news,
Right.
Amongst other situations. Because I know it's not just that one situation,
Right.
and it's not no light being shown or nobody talking about it. I look at all the other talk show hosts and stuff like that that's on major TV and even on low key, iHeartRadio, whatever. All the shows and stuff. There's very few of them that talk about it. It's mostly the underground ones, the people on YouTube and stuff like that that cover this type of stuff.
Right.
But nobody on the mainstream. Nobody. So that lets you know they are puppets. They can't go on there and say what they want to say.
Right.
They can flash cash, nice cars, houses, all this type of stuff, be in major movies, but they can't say what they want to say.
That's right.
So they got to be kind of fucked up. You got a lot of money, but you getting pimped. Somebody, you might want to really talk about some stuff and you can't say it because somebody just said, well, no, we got this script for you to say. You say this script or you fired.
Mm.
You know, integrity is a one thing. Like you can make a lot of money, but everybody going in the ground one day. Do you want to go in the ground with respect, or you made a lot of money and you was whack? Just like 6ix9ine, he got a lot of money, but he ain't got no friends. You know everybody that's around that boy is fake. He probably crying for a real morsel of a being to be around him. Like, man, I was like a kicker. Nah, man, you done snitch. You in the open. You trying to promote that shit. So everybody know you got money. Everybody want to rob you. Even the cameraman smiling in your face like, okay, but I'm getting paid.
Wow.
See, there's a lot of people living like that. Probably not so famous, but in the realms of these hoods and suburbs, you got people that go through stuff like that. They get too full of themselves and materialistic and all of that.
Head in the clouds.
Yep, all the time. That's why bad stuff be happening. Because you can showboat, but it's who you showboat to. Most people want to showboat to other poor people.
Right.
Because you showboat stuff that might be out their reach. So when you getting robbed for it, you can, well, you will rob me, but you can get this too. No, they can't get that stuff like that.
Right.
You might got a $10,000 chain on or expensive car, came through the hood, Ferrari, and they done snatch you about that car, and you trying to figure out why they do that. You can get the same thing. No, they can't. You came through and presented opportunity right then and there. That stuff going to the chop shop.
Chop.
Chop, chop. You gotta keep it real, man.
Right.
That's what this show about. Always keeping it real. Like, you know how people try to daisy talk around? I call it daisy talking. Well, actually, I just made that up. Daisy talking. Daisy, you know, daisies are flowers. They all nice and sweet and stuff.
Dance
See,
around it.
you dance, you know,
Yeah.
they're affiliated with, you know, happiness and stuff
Mm.
and glee and all of that stuff. But, you know, man, you got to put that
Stank
realness on it. So when you people be daisy walking, like they want to daisy walk the conversation, they want to, instead, if you ask a real hardcore question like the situation, why they not putting this situation on TV with the kids? You got people that are daisy walk that situation, politicians, when you ask that question, and they're professionals at it. And it seems like they answer the question, but they not. So they done talked around it and then took the attention of a whole bunch of, they do this in front of people.
Right.
People watch it and just like, come on, man. You talk about mind fuck. You getting mind fucked every day.
Yes.
There's very few real people. A lot of people just got shows and stuff to just maybe show off or talk, but ain't nobody talk about nothing.
Right.
Nothing to tangible stuff. Like I said, there's some good ones, but I'm talking about like locally.
Mm-hmm.
We need some content, man.
Right.
You know, content to where it's interesting. Now Monday, I'm starting the podcast with New Jersey Weed Man. This is gonna be crazy. He's had a show here before, back when this complex we're in was just a garage. They were going, and you talk about a real weed coalitionist. That's what I call it, a weed coalitionist. They were going during that time when they had the show. This is about 5 or 6 years ago. They were going in the police station smoking the weed.
Wow.
Yeah, like that. They doing it like that.
All right.
You know, they in front of them and the officers didn't do nothing. They had their cards and stuff and all that.
Right.
I guess, like, you know, you had to have your card. If you ain't had that card, your ass is grass. So you better have your card. Trying to do stuff like that. But this show is going to be like, because he's also running for Senate, so I'm promoting it because I'm doing the production for it. Well, one of the people doing the production for it. So I'm going to push it. It's going to be crazy. Tune in. We'll give you the coordinates, but the first joint going to be Monday. We still putting it together. That's where I'm just coming from, you know, trying to put the whole studio thing together, podcast. But, you know, with the smoke aspect of it, it's going to be crazy. That's why I wanted to be involved, because I know I'm going to have access to some killer, and it's all legal. You know what I'm saying? Stuff you can't even get out in the street. You can't find it like that. You know, it ain't. You know, this ain't the same stuff. And you know, there's some good stuff out there, but when you know where it's coming from,
Right.
and they got that RX on it, That RX. Well, you got that RX on it. You know about that RX. When they got that RX on it, boy, look, shoot, you talk about some good vibe. So, you know, we're going to make a whole show out of that stuff. So stay tuned for that. We're going to get into that. Rube, do we got another video queued up along the same lines of what we talk about? But the trafficking is another one? Yeah, because they be trying to keep this stuff under wraps.
Yeah.
I want to kind of touch on it and stuff. You know what I mean? What we got right here?
This one is 10 minutes long. You got 39 exploited children.
Okay, let's put it on. The sound low, I don't hear nothing. All right, we touching on some stuff tonight. New co-host Z Vega. Z Vega. We have to find a way to say that. You should put the Vega over there. Z Vega.
Well,
Vega.
my first name is Zelina. Zelina. So I'm sure you would probably have a hard time.
Yeah, but no. I'm just saying. So now that brings some sense to why you Z Vega. So where did Vega come from?
Well, my son, his name is Masir, and we've called him Masi Vega or Gassi, like Gassi Vega. So yeah, I kind of took on his name as Mom Vega.
Mom Vega.
Yeah, it's a thing for my son, and yeah. So I grew up in the city of Trenton, and
She got an album too, yo. She got an album coming
we
out.
got an EP being released September 11th, The Bond, and I have a solo that I'm working on now and soon to be released, and it's called I Know My Rights album. And so yeah,
You know you're right.
oh yeah, I know my rights, man.
Deep.
There are more parts of this still to come. But the headlines are shocking, disturbing, disgusting. But at the same time, we should all be thankful for the law enforcement officers who were out there who took part in Operation Not Forgotten. Thank you for joining me today. Nearly 40 endangered children rescued from Georgia sex trafficking bust. Atlanta, Georgia, dozens of children are now safe and 9 people are behind bars after a sex trafficking bust by state and federal officials. The U.S. Marshal Service announced the results of Operation Not Forgotten on Thursday for Part 2. For 2 weeks in August, U.S. Marshals and other agencies searched areas around Atlanta and Macon, Georgia, looking for missing and exploited children. As a result, they recovered 26 children and found 13 who had been missing. Investigators say these children were considered to be some of the most at-risk and challenging recovery cases in the area and in history. I cannot say enough about Operation Not Forgotten and the men and women behind it, says Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr in a tweet. 39. That's how many young lives are getting a new start, a second chance. And that's how we measure success. The U.S. Marshal Service is fully committed to assisting federal, state, and local agencies with locating and recovering endangered missing children, in addition to their primary fugitive apprehension mission, said Director of the Marshal Service, Donald Washington. 9 people were also arrested on a total of 26 warrants as part of the investigation, with charges relating to sex trafficking, parental kidnapping, registered sex offender violations, drugs and weapons possession, and custodial interference. When we track down fugitives, it's a good feeling to know that we're putting the bad guys behind bars. But that sense of accomplishment is nothing compared to finding missing children, said Darby Kirby, chief of the Missing Child Unit. Operation Not Forgotten Part 2 was a culmination of several months of planning and coordination between USMS, NCMEC, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Georgia Office of Attorney General, Georgia's Department of Family and Child Services, Georgia's Department of Juvenile Justice, the FBI, and Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. To break this all down, to give you the highlights of this all. Again, nearly 40 children were recovered during this sex trafficking bust. 39 of them total. 12 of the children who were in this bust, where they found them hidden away in homes, and some of them were in locked rooms with deadbolts, so they could not escape, and the windows were locked so they couldn't get out of windows. And the windows were painted from the inside so nobody could see the children in these rooms. 12 of those children were not even listed on the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, meaning they have been missing for less than 30 days at this point. They saved them just in time. But that still leaves the rest. The rest of the children. Some of these people who were arrested, there's 9 on top of the ones that were arrested in rural Georgia areas this past week, included parents. Parents of the actual children were found with these actual children. Get that right. They had their own children wrapped up in child pornography, sexual exploitation of a minor. Going over the booking information for the 9 who were arrested the other day. Sex trafficking. These are the charges again. Sex trafficking, sexual exploitation, parental kidnapping, registered sex offender without an address, and sex offender in the presence of a child under the age of 5. Failure to appear, custodial interference, weapons possession, distribution of drugs, drug possession, supplying drugs to a child under the age of 5. These are the booking charges. The following last 3 are all on one individual, who they call one of the major kingpins in this Georgia case. This is only part 2 in Operation Not Forgotten. Part 3 and other subsequent cases and parts are upcoming. Georgia is just the start. I want you to understand this. As saddening as it is that these things were happening to these children, they now have a second chance. And these parents, these sick parents, who had brought their children into this willingly and were abusing them themselves, need to go away forever. Anyone that would break that trust between a child and their parent, especially a parent doing this kind of behavior, is sickening. Over 40 computers, laptops, cell phones, and PCs were seized during last week and this week. Last week, you may have seen the stories that in the news of a teenager that was locked away in a barn in rural Georgia. No way to escape. No food, malnourished, no water, locked in a barn because the child apparently had done something wrong that the rest of the group didn't like. Most of these children are younger than the age of 14. It's sickening as it is to think about that. The youngest child recovered in this was 2 months of age. Again, 9 more adults were arrested. 26 warrants were already outstanding for these 9 adults. This is not the end of Operation Not Forgotten. This is only part 2. For all those out there who are abusing children right now, mark my words, the U.S. Marshal Service is looking for you. They're going to find you. And I hope you never make it to a jail. Anyone who does this to a child deserves to die. Thank you for joining me today. God bless each and every one of the over 400 officers, federal, state, and local police departments who took part in the first 2 parts. So next time you want to defund the police department, keep that in mind. You take away their funding, you think your social service workers are gonna go out and do this work for you? They're not. Stay safe out there.
Hey, now one of the things that guy did mention that I didn't pay attention to the first video was about them having previous warrants for the 9 people that did all the kidnapping beforehand.
Right.
So what did they have warrants on them for in the first place? And then, like, how long was that going on?
Right.
Like, let's not just focus on the 9 people that got caught, because this is a bigger scheme than what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? But before we get into that, I want to let Zeke Vega talk about, herself, some of her aspirations and her thoughts on the situation.
Well, I just feel that all of the children that are being rescued now, it's just a part of a bigger scheme. It's trickling down from Epstein's case and him dying in jail and people being.
You think he really did?
I don't. Well, with money like that, you can be dead. You can disappear. But I just think that this is where this is all coming from. The people are going down. They're being arrested, and they're trying to release children to kind of save their hinds from the sentences that they're going to receive. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they go to jail or not. I mean, what they've done is very horrible, and they have to face that within themselves as individuals. I mean, it's just a sad case overall.
We would just talk about these little app games and stuff. While you was talking, I won another $1,000.
Are you serious?
Lucky day, I won my money. Y'all been cheating. Y'all owe me $6,000.
Lucky day won't pay
$10.
$10.
Y'all owe me $6,000. I might not win on this one.
You better screenshot that.
I did screenshot. I should have screenshot this last one. No, I ain't went on this last one. But I was like, actually, I was gonna say something. Let her talk, cause we just talk about it. And I won another $1,000. Y'all be playing, man. Y'all owe me $6,000. Lucky day. I'm trying to contact support. Somebody gonna tell me something. I could use that. Maybe can I do it again? No, they ain't gonna give it to me again. But it is what it is. With the sex trafficking thing, that's been going on for a long time. Like, us as African Americans or whatever you want to call us, we were trafficked. See, trafficking is a big thing in this country, or in this world. Trafficking people. You see movies like with what's his name, Nelson Liam, with Taken. Remember Taken? He went all the way over there to get his daughter. Now think about how many fathers that would do that.
He has skill.
No, really think about how many fathers that would do that. How many fathers that would can even do that?
I can't say that I know any father.
See what I'm saying? Like, that's how you supposed to be for your kid, but a lot of us not able to do none of that. Like, how you get overseas, that's going to cost a lot of money.
Right.
Then you going to have to know how to fight, guns and all of that, because you go over there, you don't know nothing, they're just going to kill you.
Right.
You had good intention, but you ain't go down.
It work.
It ain't work. You daughter be hit and ain't got nobody.
He needs
So
some milk.
I always been for the underdog, the people that suffer. I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
people suffer, people that get bullied, all that type of stuff. And this seemed like this is what this world is filled with right now. Everything is a bullyment with the politics, everything.
Right.
How the money get handled
Right.
for resources and stuff. It's all a bullyment. You ain't gonna get that money to put this hospital or this school there or this
Yep.
recreation center because I'm trying to get a new condo or I gotta do this. So I'm gonna do what I gotta do and shim sham. So we're living in a country full of shim sham. The shim sham country, this scam country right now. It's
Schemers.
scam. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't trust nothing you see.
Right.
Half the stuff you see on TV is crisis actors.
Right.
A lot of the protests and stuff, all that's set up. Now we got a lot of Black Lives Matter people, but ain't no black people out there. It be all white folks. So, and even white folks look at that, but like the white folks tired of you white folks shit. I'm speak on their behalf. I got some cool white people I can talk.
Right.
They said it to you. I bring it right on the show. They tell you, be tired of your shit. You got to knock it off. Because this is getting bullshit. You can't just be doing what you want to do like that.
Yeah.
Then you Karens make me sick. You just be seeing black folks just mind their business, living life, and you just got to call the cops. They do need to make up a law for y'all. To put some type of mandate on y'all for misuse of police force.
Right. Well, I
Now-
believe they do have something like that.
Yeah,
The
I think
Emmett Till,
they probably
Emmett
do.
Till law, right? They just put
Well, I don't know. You know, it's different from state to state.
True.
Like here, down south has more Jim
Civil
Crow type laws.
Yeah.
You
they
notice
do.
the property cheap. You can find a 4-bedroom house with a 2-car garage for $400 or $500 a month. You can get that with a nice yard and all of that.
Yes.
And the neighborhood could be decent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But the racial element is so harsh that if you make a wrong turn on the road, that could be your life that night and nobody will know
Right.
nothing.
Right. Right.
Or you just gonna be a missing person and they could have just incinerated your body in the forest somewhere because
Right.
that's in Georgia is where they filmed The Walking Dead. So Georgia is full of vast forests and,
Yes.
and woods
Yep.
and stuff like that. So it's a dense energy. They are still hanging black people down there. Like when I went down there, my mom had a house down there. So, and I'm gonna talk about this for I don't know who's watching right now, but I used to get a lot of support off the Facebook for events and stuff that I was going through. So one instance was my mom was real sick, and I had to go down to Georgia to see about her. Her boyfriend at the time, you know, he was on some grimy. He had a $10,000 insurance policy put on him, so he was trying to collect that and run off with his girl. So he was encouraging me to pull the plug on my mom.
Wow.
Well, guess what happened to him?
Karma.
Was it? That's about 2.5 years ago. He died a couple days ago. So when I say about karma and I talk about that stuff, it's real. You can't do dirt. When he called the cops on me. When the cops took me out the house, they knew he was on some bullshit because I was down there handling my mom business and all that stuff. But he was trying to get the car, the house, and all that so he could do stuff with his whatever girlfriend. And I actually seen them. Like when they say God work in mysterious ways, this is why people would tend to believe in the mystery God.
Yes.
Because of the strange things that happen that you can't explain, that
Right.
does happen,
Right.
that you may not know. You know, we could be father-centered black man. All right, we understand that, but then there is stuff that happened that you don't know how it happened. You can't explain, but it happened.
Right.
So I end up going to this plaza that was like maybe a mile away from the hospital from where she was at to get power attorney papers pressed up from off the drive I had, little flash drive, because I downloaded it online and I bought it. So I'm looking for a Staples, and in the shopping plaza, a little mile away from the hospital, I go into a cell phone shop and I see him there with the other lady. He was shocked like a motherfucker. What you doing here? Because you know what? Like, now, mind you, he had just called the cops on me, and some people came and got me. The cops dropped me off at some gas station. I don't know where the hell I was at, but my peoples had some peoples come get me from the gas station, and I was able to stay with them for a night, and then they dropped me off at the hospital. So, mind you, I don't know nobody out there. You know, I'm on a whimpering a prayer just to go see about my mom, and luckily I had a couple people out there. I ended up getting up with them, but for that short time, the reality was, them Georgia dudes, they don't care about y'all. I don't see why so many people from up north moving down there, man. The fuck is wrong with you niggas, man? They don't like you, man. Like, they be killing you, too. Y'all think y'all gonna go down there and mess with y'all, they girls, and you gonna get a record deal or something? Ain't nobody from up north went down in Georgia and blew up like that. They look out for each other. So I don't know why y'all be doing. I know they might include you in the party or something, but they're not gonna make you priority.
Right.
You not. They ain't nobody went down there and did that yet. You might have aspiration to do it. I'm here to tell you. You know, it proved me wrong by doing it, but up until this point, nobody from up there been able to dominate down there, but they've been able to dominate up here.
Right.
Everybody wanted to start sounding like they down south. You heard when Snoop did that thing with 50 Cent. Everybody started sounding the same. And everybody just ran with that flow. Yeah. So now the thing was, it was a uniform flow with the uniform jewelry, with these big ass shoes and tight jeans. The big ass Pumas or whatever they call them Yeezys.
Yeah.
With the big old
soft cloth.
The soft cloth that look like some type of futuristic Crocs.
Right.
They look like futuristic nurse Crocs. They look like 2063 nurse Crocs.
With the extra sole.
With the extra sole, like you could be running down the hallway like nurse needed in room 63. Urgent cold blue.
Scrub up.
You could be running down the hallway.
Squeaky.
You could be squeaking down the hallway. Them big ass Crocs on. What's wrong with you niggas? Y'all actually buy that stuff too. Like, I don't care if y'all don't like. Y'all could be mad. Y'all could be on the Facebook. Y'all could scroll. A nigga talking shit. I paid $2,000 for that. You should look yourself in the mirror and smack yourself, motherfucker. You paid $2,000. You could have got a car for that much, nigga. You paid $2,000 for some squishy. Squishy ass nigga. You should be, look, man. Hey, man, this ain't really a shot to Kanye. I just feel like you should have had a better designer than that, bro. Like, you already know we like Jordans and Nikes and Adidas and Pumas and Fila. You know the type of designs black folk like. So I guess he didn't do it for us. Yeah. He did it for the space people. You space crock ass nigga. Like, look, if he become president, I don't think he running again. I hope he's not running. So many, that just shows them how crazy our people is. He ain't got no political background.
Right.
Shoot, Trump ain't had no political background.
True. Very true.
And he up in there doing his thing. Look at him, causing all type of hell. I don't even see how black people be like Trump supporters. Like, you know how bad y'all look? Like, y'all could get away with it up north. But if y'all go down south with that shit, they might shoot you. They're going to keep it real. They might kill you. Black people will find a way to fuck you over if you're a black Trump supporter in the South.
Yes.
The dirty South. Now, there's a difference between the South and the dirty South. And when you know about the dirty South, now the dirty South is dirty not because we're saying physically dirty, because the mentality is dirty. These people, when they want to do you dirty and hurt you or do you dirty, they got some sinister ways. It's like the opposite of New York. New York is fast and slick. They can set you up. Right. This place, they set you up while they think but to make you think they talk slick. Hey, go over there and barrel that. Hey, boy. Right. They have to tell that to, but during the whole time, they setting you up in their mind, and they have their lingo. Yeah. They talk that Geechee talk. See? You know, you've been down south. Everybody got people down south. So
yeah, you said the Pritchard, Alabama.
And see, even with that the trafficking thing, a place like that, that's why there's things like that happen that could facilitate those type of situations.
Right, right.
Because of the country setting. A lot of those kids probably have no idea what's going to happen to them, and they're unsuspecting. People that grow up in the city, most of their parents tell you, don't talk to strangers, and you already seen a number of things growing up, shooting, stabbings, fights, all type of stuff. You know, in the hood, just coming up to you know, you got kids that's in New York and Philly that walk to school that are like 7 and 8 years old that go to school by themselves, probably with their little brothers and sisters. You see them on the train or on the bus by themselves. You be like, with them little bit, but they going to school and they know how to stay out of trouble. Kids are growing up quicker in the city now. This also happens in the suburbs, but a little on a different pace because most of the information they get about anything is coming off the TV.
Right.
So everything else is like, if you're not doing the TV stuff, then whatever activity you have, you know, you're in the country, whatever, outside, like it used to be. You know, whoever your friends are, you could do that.
Play with your friends.
But when it comes to the trafficking stuff, most people be so about to their day-to-day business that you don't even see coming. I've seen some of the videos how they set people up in the parking lots and stuff, and you know, especially the women, y'all need guns. Learn how to fight. You can't afford to be dainty no more. You can't be all dainty, nice and sweet. I'm sorry, that was nice at one time, but now you need kung fu, self-defense, tasers, guns, knives.
Very serious time for women.
Yeah, and
to
see,
have protection
now let's talk about this. You watch kung fu films, right?
I love kung fu.
All right. Now, you know what we don't have that we need?
What is that?
We ain't got no kung fu sisters. We got the black dudes. We got the couple black dudes that do it.
Right.
But with one sister that you know that's sharp with a kung fu.
It's probably low key, but we don't know.
Man, it got to be something.
I haven't.
We ain't got a movie somewhere. You know? She must be, because we talk about the mother of civilization. So I guess the powers that be don't want to promote nothing like that. Right. We had Storm. They let Halle Berry play that part,
and Catwoman,
and I think we had a couple others. The new James Bond film coming out, they got a sister in that. Now you know that Idris Elba wanted to play James Bond, but they wouldn't let him because he was black. So the thing was, all right, well, Idris Elba can't play James Bond because he's black, but you got a white guy playing a pharaoh in Egypt on them documentaries they be having. So let's, because you know I talk science. I do a lot of teaching. A lot of the videos I used to play was always about teaching, and I'll play the stuff that nobody else wanted to play or talk about or cover, like, you know, like we in a cipher. So I just take that information and put it on the show where can't nobody shut me up. They be mad because the thing is, to be able to talk about a certain topic where a person that's on the farm that's not into that type of stuff, they're not going to be able to hold long conversation on serious stuff. Right. It's going to turn into lollygag after a while. You're going to be talking about the Lakers versus the Heat. Well, you know, my man dunked on him, you know what I'm saying? But none of that stuff matter right now.
Right.
The NBA is a joke. Sports is a joke. You know why? Because they got paperclip people in the crowd now. This shit is like Tecmo Bowl. Remember Tecmo Bowl from like Nintendo? No, that was Mario. Yeah. They got shit. It's like real live Tecmo Bowl. Right. This shit is a joke. They even had the nerve to have Bernie on there, the dead guy from Bernie's Weekend at Bernie's. Come on, man. Like, this is a joke. The games they do be playing, but you got to see, like, the players even themselves might feel some type of way because the energy used to come from the crowd. Right. Now it's just like you doing a scrimmage with some cutouts and people on the screen.
Right.
And them people paying a lot of money just to be flashing up on the screen.
Yep.
But it's not the same because you cannot hear the crowd, the applause. Like, you know, every time you get a dunk or something, everybody go crazy. That's what basketball and NFL was all about, the crowd.
Right.
If you don't get that, if y'all don't bring that back, there's going to be more riots. And guess what? White folks going to riot for that shit. You ain't got to worry about us, black people. We just trying to get a squirrel in the nut. well, let me rephrase that. We just trying to get a little bit of something. You know what I'm saying? The squirrel in the nut. I just thought about that. Squirrel in the nut. I probably said it the wrong way, but I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. But then, you know, that probably wouldn't be appropriate either because I don't want no nuts. I want hardcore reparations. We need some money. I'm tired of you motherfuckers. It's all about that money. It don't nothing else matter but the money.
Right.
Everything else is bullshit.
Right.
If y'all talk about reparations and y'all feel sorry for slavery, then give me some motherfucking money. Huh?
I second that.
This is look. We ain't got to go through no program. I don't want to fill out no papers.
Right.
I just want to go somewhere and pick up the bag.
Direct deposit.
No, I don't even want to
Just
beg.
send
Just
me
give
a
me the
card.
cash. Give me. Look, I don't want none of that. Whatever you got.
Ching.
Look. This is the main thing for centuries. We know that all the artifacts and all the museums is ours and all that stuff.
Right.
Like technically, the reason why they don't want to really pursue reparations because they had to give up everything. Every stone, nook and cranny, bank account, dime,
Right.
gold, silver, you would have to give it up. It would literally, reparations to black people would literally send the government into the Stone Age. That's why they don't want to do it.
Wow.
I mean, we talk about beyond trillions of dollars. This would be like quadrillions of dollars.
Right.
You know, because you done took stuff that's irreplaceable and destroyed it. Stuff that, you know, the remnants of history of the planet. See, when you're dealing with the history of the planet, that gives it more value than a trinket or a temporary lifetime thing.
Right.
You know, we all live. When you lucky enough to live to learn your special place on this planet, you know that's good. Because so many people died, and they died without purpose.
Right.
They died without knowing who they are. They died without not knowing nothing. They just short existence and stuff. Or you could have lived till you was a 90-year-old person or 100 years old and still never know who you was.
Right.
So that's the blessing for those that got knowledge of self. You know, pat yourself on the back. I was watching the video from this guy, Brother Polite, and he's one of the in part of the conscious community, but he getting money. So one of the things that he touched on that I can relate to is like when people see you doing a little bit better, you spend a little bit of money and stuff like that. People don't like that.
Right.
You know, especially if you're known for a certain thing. Nah, you just supposed to teach. You ain't supposed to be trying to flash and because people that don't got it gonna feel some type of way. But you gotta forget, you had to have some fun. People forgot how to have fun.
That's so true.
That's a lot of people to be so damn serious.
And they don't want to see you smile.
Hell breaking loose. Yeah,
Oh
hell
my
breaking loose.
God.
But you should still try to have some fun in
do?
between.
From the time I wake up in the morning, I have.
Yeah, that's see, most women inherit that type of spirit that have this cheery attitude better than men. Because I've seen some cheery men. Ruben, one of them. This motherfucker always cheery, smiling for nothing ass nigga. He be smiling, always cheesy, always chuckling. He be laughing for nothing. It could be quiet. Ruby over there. Beavis and butthead ass nigga. You hear me talking about you? He gonna try. I know you hear this shit.
He gonna get you.
He probably out there playing the town
shit.
Town shit.
Yeah.
I feel he about to say
He ain't
something.
send me no lives. I've been sending him lives all week.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
You better get on it for
I had
you
to
trying
see
to do you dirty.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see him.
You smile on your face, taking all your lives.
Right. Ain't giving none back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what is that next video we got over there?
This video is the fugitive task force U.S. Marshals chase after dangerous felon. Full episode. I think this was something part of that. Hold on, let me go back.
Part 3, probably.
I think it was. It was in that list.
All right, run it, man. I gotta get some water.
No, that's not it.
Would you like some water, Miss Vega?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good. We got to take a water break. So yeah, put one of those videos on, man.
All right.
Probably like a 10-minute one.
Yep.
I'll just play this one.
Okay.
This
What
gives
you
you
think
plenty of
about
time.
that stimulus bill? Because I think it's bullshit.
Well, I had a pandemic fund thing. I done spent like that stimulus bill like 4 times already. Shit from Pennsylvania.
And then after him, Dr. Messner with the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta will say a few words as well. So why are we here? We're here because we conducted an operation. As I said, in this geography, we recovered 26 missing and endangered children, and we safely located an additional 13, and we arrested 9 criminals that are involved or were involved with these missing children. In the process, we cleared 26 arrest warrants. And we filed additional charges for alleged crimes related to sex trafficking, parental kidnapping, registered sex offender violations, drugs and weapons possession, and custodial interference. Some of the names, and this is not all of them, but some of the defendants, there's one Kirk Waters, as an example. He was arrested for being while in the company of one of our recovered children. He was charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. He's incarcerated. His bond has been denied. Zachary Bailey is another name. He was arrested and charged with sex trafficking of a juvenile, among other alleged crimes. He's also incarcerated. And the third name that I'll mention here, as I said, there are others. The third name is Stanson Causey. He was arrested for a probation violation. The original charge was child molestation. He's now also incarcerated. Now, a lot of people contributed to this operation, without whom this operation would not have been successful. I want to personally thank Commander Jim Joyner, who I can see back behind you there, Deputy Commander Dennis Durando, and the Missing Child Unit Chief. She's smiling behind her mask, Chief Darby Kirby. These were all super folks who were instrumental in carrying out this operation, in conducting the training, the planning, and then the actual operation itself being done in a truly, truly noble, professional, and an outstanding way. I'm very proud of what they were able to accomplish in the short time that we were on this operation. Now, as successful as this operation was, there is a harsh reality here, though. And the harsh reality is, gee, why are we doing this in the first place? Why do we have missing, endangered children? The stats are that in every 40 seconds, there is a child abducted in the United States. Every 40 seconds. And so I kind of like to keep the math straightforward. I'll round that up just for grins here today and call it every 60 seconds. That means that every minute that I speak, one child is abducted in the United States of America. According to the FBI stats, they gather stats from around the country that are reported to them. There are over 421,000 missing children that are reported as I stand here now. Of those reported, 90%, 91% actually, are considered endangered runaways. Now you can do the math. That's about 360,000 endangered children in this country. And of that 360,000, 1 in 6 of them, now do the math again, that's 60,000, is likely to become a victim of sex trafficking. 60,000, that's unacceptable. Now these are not children that are in some faraway land. These are children that are not, they're not somebody else's kids, right? I have children, I'm sure many of you do as well. These are not my kids, right? And these are not your kids, but actually they are our kids when it's all said and done. And so we have to accept them as our kids because they are America's children, and they're kids that we need to go and find. Right here in Atlanta, approximately 300 young girls are lured into sex trafficking every month. Now, you can do the math on that as well. Now, that's something that we need to pay attention to and to work harder on, I believe. So this is a priority of the United States Marshal Service. We do a lot of things. As you know, you're standing here in a building that's one of 8 regional fugitive task forces around the United States. We are responsible for bringing to justice about 100,000 fugitives every year, 100,000. in buildings and with people that are engaged in the many desks that you have your cameras sitting around as I talk here. Okay. But I'll tell you, we're very proud of bringing in fugitives, no doubt about it. But this operation of going and rescuing children, in my view, is far, far, far more important. The numbers are not nearly the 100,000 when we talk about missing children that we are able to recover. But one missing child is worth thousands, in my mind, of fugitives that we go out and get. So we have a number of partners that we work with here, and I'm going to name them in a minute just to make sure that everyone gets the proper credit that's due, because I don't believe that my agency is due any credit whatsoever when it comes to this particular mission. Yeah, we were here, we're part of the leadership and the planning and the training and the funding and all of that, but we can't do it without the partners that we have to help us get through these things. So our mission in the Marshal Service with respect to missing children is a national mission. There are United States Marshals in 94 different districts around the country and in the American territories, so we have a presence virtually everywhere. What I'd like to see is that we have a missing child mission virtually everywhere as well, so that we can help to bring these many, many thousands of missing children home. Since 2005, we've recovered nearly 2,000 missing children in the Marshal Service. These fit in a particular category. I keep using the term missing endangered children. That means something to us. These are children that are in an environment where they are the victims of a violent crime, or they are in an environment where there are certain factors that are being brought to bear that makes them endangered. They're the subjects of sexual assaults. They're the subjects of sex trafficking, molestation, and things of that sort. And then there are other factors that we also look at as well. So it's a big mission when it's all said and done. There are big numbers, and there's plenty of work to go around for law enforcement agencies. Some of our partners, I said I'd mention those, so we'll make sure we understand who all may be involved here. First, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which has its offices in Arlington, Virginia, but they work cases all over the country and in many cases all over the world. With their partnership with the FBI and with the United States Marshal Service, we're able to do some really, really good things with them. Here in Atlanta, we've had the State of Georgia Attorney General's Office, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's Missing Child Recovery Unit, the Georgia Department of Families and Children Services, as I said, the FBI, and its Metro Atlanta Child Exploitation Task Force, and a number of local law enforcement agencies from Atlanta and Macon, Georgia. Now, the 26 kids who were rescued during Operation Not Forgotten, these rescues were a direct result of the collaboration among many agencies, particularly the ones I mentioned. I want to say again that these are the most at-risk and challenging recovery cases in the area. Okay? You can think of the U.S. Marshal Service as being expert, I think the best, at finding people anywhere in the world. These particular cases, finding children, are equally difficult. And so the expertise that I think we can bring to bear is necessary for us to achieve the success that we've achieved in these kinds of missions. Now, we are also conducting these missions in other cities around the country. I'll give you an example here. We have Operation Safety Net, which is ongoing as we speak in Cleveland. So far there, during the few weeks of operations, we've recovered 15 missing children, and we've arrested at least 2 individuals and seized a number of weapons associated with those individuals. There is an operation ongoing in the city of New Orleans. It's called Operation Summer Rescue. That one's kicking off, and we expect to see similar successes in that area. My agency is committed to this mission. Finding missing children has to be among our highest priorities. My message to the missing children and their families is very simple. and that is the way we look at fugitives. We will never stop looking for you. That's my message. Okay? There is no more meaningful work that law enforcement does than rescuing children. Our children are not for sale, and they are not ever forgotten. And so with that, I'm going to turn over the podium to the Georgia Attorney General, Chris Carr.
Director Washington, thank you so much for being here. Your presence means a great deal, and we are so grateful for you taking the time to be in Atlanta today with us and for the partnership in this particular operation. And I want to thank everybody that's been a part of this. So many different agencies, so many different folks working together, and it truly makes a difference. I do want to say a special thanks to the head of our prosecutions division, John Fowler, and to the head of our human trafficking unit, Hannah Palmquist, and their entire team. This unit is new for our office. It is a first of its kind in state history, and when we launched, we had high expectations for the team, and they continue to exceed them, and we could not be more proud of the work that they are doing each and every day, and we're so proud of the work that we are doing with our partners like the U.S. Marshal Service, the GBI, and those that are standing up on the podium today. To date, our unit has placed 18 victims of domestic minor sex trafficking in rehabilitation services and centers such as the state's Receiving Hope Center, which is operated by Wellspring Living. We've worked cases in 11 Georgia counties. We have indicted 5 traffickers with 8 additional ongoing investigations. Operation Not Forgotten was designed to locate and recover missing and endangered children in Georgia and beyond, including some who were known to be victims of sex trafficking. As a result of this operation, our office has assisted the U.S. Marshal Service and the GBI in placing additional victims in rehabilitation centers, and to date, we have developed 3 new cases with multiple trafficking suspects. We often get asked by the media about the statistics behind trafficking, and they're not so easy to come by. Sex trafficking can be in many ways a hidden crime, one that lives in the shadows. I always go back to the fact that if we can save one child from a life of abuse or sex trafficking, we've done our job. And this operation did that for many, many children. Children who were not given a fair shake to begin with, children who maybe would have fallen through the cracks had it not been for the dedicated efforts of law enforcement officials that worked this operation. And the work that these men and women did during these 2 weeks will be life-changing for these young children. And I cannot praise them enough for a job well done. Our human trafficking unit's main role in this type of operation is to assist throughout, help coordinate services for victims, and ensure that any criminals involved in the abuse or trafficking of these children are held accountable for their despicable actions. Our prosecutors work with investigators to identify the signs of domestic minor sex trafficking and what we need from the scene in order to build strong cases against buyers and traffickers. Our criminal analyst and criminal investigator both aid their counterparts throughout the entire process, and our victim advocate acts as the linchpin between the victims and rehabilitative services. We're lucky in Georgia to have great partners in the recovery space who truly can step in when these operations conclude and carry the torch on providing rehabilitation services. I also want to thank Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp for ensuring that we had the resources in order to do this through our Human Trafficking Prosecutions Unit. And I also have to commend our president and the administration for the resources that they have provided as we fight human trafficking. So I want to thank again the partners that we've had at the U.S. Marshal Service for including us as a partner from the early stages. I cannot say enough about Operation Not Forgotten and the men and women behind it. And I believe that the relationships forged as a result of this operation will allow us to save more children and put more buyers and traffickers behind bars. How many lives that we have saved and will have a new and fresh start is how we will measure success. And with that, I will turn it over to Assistant Director of the GBI, John Melvin.
Evil exists, and to address it requires leadership that will identify it, call it out, and deploy the necessary resources to end the problem and clean up the mess. To address it requires agents and foot soldiers and prosecutors that are willing to take the fight to the enemy. That is why I'm so thankful for the leadership of the Trump administration on the federal level, as well as Director Washington, Attorney B.J. Pack, and our brethren at the FBI. And on the state level, I'm very thankful for the leadership of Governor Kemp, Director Reynolds, as well as Attorney General Chris Carr. Evil exists, and it requires the coordinated partnerships to maximize our impact against it. So I want to thank every agent, every marshal, every member of the Bureau, the FBI, and every local agent that participated in fighting this evil. And whether you're behind a keyboard or you're on the street for a takedown, I want you to know that you made a difference. I want to say thank you to our leadership also for recognizing the need for a holistic approach as we fight evil. For not only did we take them down, but we're also partnering with Wellspring as well as CHOA to clean up the mess. CHOA and Wellspring are really providing a ministry to the harmed souls that this evil has caused. I'm grateful for our leadership and our agents, the members of the GBI like Debbie Garner, and our SEAC unit who helped track them down. I'm thankful for the U.S. Marshal's Office and Marshal Yeager who allowed us to participate in this effort. I want y'all to continue to pray for Hannah Palmquist, who's the head of the Human Trafficking Unit at the AG's office, as well as John Fowler, because we're only halfway to the gold line. We need to hold these perpetrators accountable, and we need to make sure that they are incarcerated so that they will never again perpetrate their evil against the children of the state of Georgia. Thank you. I want to say thank you again to Dr. Mesner and to those that are engaging in the ministry to help our children get better. May God bless you all.
I hate to say this, but I will anyway. Dr. Messner was a little reluctant to speak with you today, not because he didn't have anything to say, but because he obviously is a person who is rather meek. But the contributions made, when you ask yourself the question, so we've got the U.S. Marshals with guns and badges, we've got the Attorney General with the prosecutions and prosecutors, we've got GBI with, again, guns and badges, but what happens to the children after that? What happens after they're rescued? Well, Dr. Mesner is going to talk to you briefly about what that process is. It's very important to understand that there is a network there that can be depended upon, but we can't do it without people like Dr. Mesner and his organization.
Thank you very much. So I'm Steve Messner. I'm one of the child abuse pediatricians at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. I'm the medical director of the Stephanie D. Blank Center for Safe and Healthy Children. I'd like to thank all of you for allowing us to participate in this operation. It's really important for these children that once they're recovered that we can start the healing process. And by involving us at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, we're able to start that process right from the get-go. So on behalf of all the children who are recovered, I'd like to thank all of you for your efforts that have been put forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. All right, with that, I think that's all who volunteered to speak today at the conference, but everybody, you see the people here who are present to answer any questions you might have in addition to myself. So with that, we'll open it to questions.
What are some of the locations where the arrests were made?
Anybody help with that? Specific locations?
In Atlanta.
Just a second. I got the experts over here who know all the details. Come on up.
Josue Rivera, ma'am, with the U.S. Marshal Service. We had locations all over the state. As far as Atlanta, you're looking at the surrounding counties, Gwinnett, Fulton, Clayton, as far north as Forsyth County. It's probably about 20 counties total in the state of Georgia. So I'd have to.
Can you give us an address?
Say again?
The address of your property?
No. What do you mean address?
Where you picked up these?
There's 39 recoveries. I mean, I'd have to go back and look through there. But
Yeah, if that's really important to you, we can give you what we can give you.
Just a few locations, just for video purposes, even if it's streets.
Yes, we'll provide that to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Most of these locations are like hotels, motels, or
various locations. There were some motels where some children were being trafficked. Some were residences, apartment complexes. They ran from motels to apartment complexes.
Yeah, there's no particular formula for this. It's just like where you might live. It's all said and done. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Don't go too far. And let me just add before you, the next question. The way these things normally happen is the task force will meet with the various parties involved and discuss the possible names, because there are organizations who know the names of the people that we need to go look for. As things go, it becomes a typical investigation where people do what some people call gumshoe work. They will take data and start looking as to where people might be, and then get out and actually go find the folks that are involved. Yes, ma'am.
Of the 39, you've got 13 who just had the safe location of. So what happens with them? What kind of does that safe location mean, and what does their kind of future look like? What's that situation?
Yeah, as I understand it, and again, we've got experts here. As I understand it, that particular 13, these were children that law enforcement felt that they sort of needed a health and welfare check, if you will, because we were just not certain as to what their current conditions were. So someone was sent to find them. So we had to use our expertise to actually locate them first, and then go verify as to whether or not they were actually endangered. And if they were, then they would be removed from those environments and taken into the system that we have discussed today. If they were not, then they continue to live where they are.
These children, do you know how many were victims of sex trafficking?
15 of 50.
Of the 9 arrests, how many were in Macon, and how many were in Metro Atlanta area?
We can get that for you.
And
We'll get
then
that.
are you expecting to make any more arrests through this operation?
Yeah, this operation has concluded, but that doesn't mean that we won't continue to work with the agencies here. And, you know, as names pop up, we will go and work and find those folks. What has happened as a result, I think, this is probably a very accurate statement, is as a result of working together, we're now very, very comfortable working together as a task force. So the people who actually worked inside, who actually do the work like you saw a moment ago, those are the folks who have established relationships with others inside the other agencies that are involved. So phone calls will be made. So when a critically missing child is identified, there'll be people working to go find that child. So that's one of the big benefits of things like this, is we get to know each other better. I know that in this particular case there was some reluctance by at least one agency in working with the United States Marshal Service because of all the stuff that you hear, which I consider to be false, but that you hear around, that's happening around the country. But after working with this agency, it becomes very clear that we're easy to work with, we're dedicated to do these kinds of things, we want to do these kinds of things, and we're here to serve.
Does anyone who has past experience with this notice any kind of difference that the pandemic played on this? Was having more people at home make it easier, harder, just kind of like with traffic flow? Was there any kind of difference on what this mission was like in a pandemic versus past
Yeah.
ones?
Well, I'll give you the 60,000-foot view, and then if anybody has any specific view about that, feel free to add. The 60,000-foot view is yes, there is a difference. The pandemic has slowed the pace of a number of things. For example, this particular operation actually was supposed to kick off in January of this year. I believe that I got that right. And then we tried some things up to March, and then in March we had to shut down, sort of reassess how to do things. the United States Marshal Service is famous, in my view, for finding a way forward. So we had to sit and find a way forward for a lot of things, including this particular operation. So it was kicked back up in early August and has now concluded. Yes.
I know this is something relatively new to the U.S. Marshal Service, but having this new ability as of 2015, do you think that signals either a recognition of the fact that sex trafficking, and especially minor sex trafficking, is such a problem in the country, or do you think it's just finding new ways to address it?
I believe that it's finding new ways to address it. I was a member of the George W. Bush administration before I became a member of the Trump administration. And in that administration, we created what's called Project Safe Neighborhoods. And, Project Safe Childhoods, in addition to Project Safe Neighborhoods. But Project Safe Childhoods was focused upon children, and what we saw at that time as exploitation of children, primarily online and things of that sort, but it was happening in the sex trafficking world as well. So this is an expansion of the United States Marshal Service's authority. Over the last 3 years, 4 years now, we have expanded our capabilities and expanded the people, the number of people and the resources to actually do this particular mission. You can expect to see us have a further expansion. Chief Kirby is back there. She's shaking her head up and down. I've already talked to her this morning. I said, look, these are excellent numbers. I just want to see 10 times as much. So you're going to see more of these things happening.
We all appreciate what you guys are doing. I think you guys are doing a great job. I would just like to know when you help the younger kids and some of the kids that are going towards adulthood, is there any additional resources so they don't fall back into the cracks of being exploited, like maybe education, maybe housing as they kind of reach of age?
Yeah. Any of the experts want to address that?
Chris Carr, I will say that's where the partnerships come in, like with a Wellspring Living and others. And Wellspring just happened to be the State's Recovery Center, but the wraparound services that are needed for children or for the victims can be extensive. There's an evaluation that is done. I'd encourage you actually to reach out to Wellspring to learn about the specific details. But absolutely, each person is different. There may be physical needs, there may be mental health needs, there may be educational needs, but the rehabilitation side is critically important for exactly what you just said, so you don't fall back and you get the services that you need in order to continue to move forward. And there's some great organizations that are doing it. Wellspring is one, and I'd encourage you to look into the specifics of each one of those organizations.
Will list of some of those be provided?
Yeah, we can get that for you.
For this specific operation, is there an age range for the children who were rescued?
What was the age range?
3 to 18.
Yeah, 3 to 18.
17, 18.
Yeah, it's usually 17 is the upper limit for that. Yeah, and as you might guess, the older the children are, the wider the range of reactions to being rescued become. Okay, not every endangered child actually wants to be rescued, but we're the adults in the room, as they say, and so we need to exercise our responsibilities as adults and go and take those children as old as they are in terms of being a child, up to 17, take them from that environment and put them into a safer environment. The range of responses that children give to being rescued range from, as I was told this morning, an interesting story, which I won't repeat here, but it's really quite simple, is a child gets rescued, and if that child has been the victim of sexual abuse, sexual molestation, and trafficking, then many times that child will be reluctant to talk to the rescuers. They get into an environment where then they finally feel safe, and there may be a dozen people around them, and then they just begin to cry. And then they typically will begin to thank those who have rescued them for taking the time and for never forgetting them, and hence the operation name, Operation Not Forgotten. There are others that are more difficult, who don't necessarily want to be rescued but have to be, And so the services that this gentleman mentioned over here a minute ago become vitally important to adjusting that mindset and to having them recognize the danger that they were in and the value of their lives as human beings really starts very early, but they're not maximizing that value if they stay in an environment where they are actually being, pimped, if you will, and stuff like that. That's just terrible. But every so often, we will see people who don't want to come out of those environments, but who have to be brought out of those environments.
These sex trafficking victims, have they been linked to any criminal organizations? Is it widespread, or do you think it's relatively isolated as far as the number of them?
No, it's sex trafficking is a significant crime in the United States. I'll bet you the Bureau would tell you that it's something that they are struggling with, and that they're putting a major effort into it. It is not a onesie-twosie type crime. It exists. We have to get in our own minds the idea that, yes, sex trafficking occurs inside the United States of America, and it's something that we have to put more resources toward. Yes.
Yeah, we heard the age range that you mentioned. How long, do you have a range, an estimate for how long they were missing, from 2 months to 4 years, what the smallest length of time was, what the longest was?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Did I recall the longest I recall was probably about 2 years, and some were a couple weeks, maybe.
Okay, so 3 to 17-year-olds is the age range, and then couple
Couple
several
weeks.
up to
Right.
2 years.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Last question.
All right. Well, thank you very much. This is a worthwhile exercise, and thank you for coming. Take care of yourselves.
Crazy.
But, you gotta watch those people.
Hey guys, I'll be right back. I'll make a quick one to the car.
All right. We'll put the iPad on, please. Turn that volume. Thank you, sir. All right, we back. We played that, man. That was like a deep in depth thing, the press conference about the child trafficking thing. But we back with Z Vega, man. She gonna be co-host for a while, and I guess y'all should just get used to her. And I'm gonna reset her up so she could talk, cause she could talk. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let her take over for a little bit and let her fill you in on the business.
Yeah, well, the business is I'm here to learn the ropes from God Body, Mr. Monk. And like he said, eventually have my own show, and it's going to be called The Queen's Corner. It's just a lot of information for relationships, women, tips, children, pretty much all the things that I live day to day. I think will be informative to the listeners, and I'm here. So, hey, tune in. We're going to get the fundamentals set and get the dates scheduled, and we'll take it from there. But trust me, you'll be seeing me soon.
That's what it do. All right. I don't think we got no more videos or nothing.
Yeah.
It's like we always like to help people, and sometimes it becomes overbearing to do that. We were talking earlier about you can help people that end up doing you dirty, or they could be helping you but they still do you dirty. Some people don't want to see you doing better than them, so they'll throw little stuff in there. Like, even if they got more than you, they see that you could do so much more with your little bit, more than they could do more with their lot.
Right.
So it becomes this, well, if you do all of this, then the attention going to be taken off of me.
Right.
I mean, we got too much of that goes on to the black community, because
Yes,
that's the main thing that's happening. Like, you know how people talk about black unity. The main thing, the problem with that is trust.
Yes.
Trust, when I say trust, is you can't have all that promiscuous stuff going on like that if you plan on doing that.
Right.
Because that caused the most problems. Who's going where, who's doing what with who, and all that stuff.
Right.
Like, how how you focus on fighting your enemy and all that stuff when that stuff was going on. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's been the main ingredient to the downfall of many movements over the years. Right. Those type of elements. Nobody can't, control it now. It's not just a heterosexual thing. It's both ways. So you got that shocker too. Right. You got dudes that might like men on the low. Then you got women, and the women thing is plentiful. Women on women, that's almost regular. Especially the dudes. Most dudes accept it, but in real life, the thing is the lack of reproduction of ourselves now, because most of those women don't want no man, so they not gonna have no kids.
Right.
So you might feel like, oh, this nigga ain't shit, he did this, but try to look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is for you to not reproduce. Right. None of that stuff. They could care less about your sexual preference, but they've accomplished what they wanted to do because of that. So rethink that sometimes. Maybe y'all could do artificial insemination, or maybe some lucky guy can get lucky and have a threesome one night, you know what I mean? However y'all do it, because that's going on anyway. How many kids that, imagine what life would be like if kids knew how they were born.
Right.
If they knew how their parents hooked up and what happened the night their parents had sex and how they got here. That'd be deep. Somebody need to make a movie about that. So, like, it's some machine that they created, but it's only for you to go back and see how you was created and stuff. Like, a lot of people be quite intrigued. You had to have love. That's why so many kids is bad, because you had them one night stands and stuff, and the woman ended up getting pregnant, and there was no love into the sperm. The energy wasn't going into that. It was just like a nut. So it was a low vibrational nut. It's just science. Check it out. You look it up with it. So when you have love for your woman and you have a climax, it is a certain amount of vibration that goes into that reproduces into that child.
Yes. So true.
You know what I'm saying? So, this is how things work on certain levels. I mean, of course, there are exceptions. You might have people that was, I've seen crack babies still turn out good.
Yes. So true.
And they didn't have no parents. They both gone. You know who they was.
Right.
And they still turned out. So you do have them cases. But I'm sure they have their struggles, because most children want to know who their parents are, how they got where they are, what you doing here, how did you get on this planet.
Right.
That's always the main question. And a lot of times, our children, or even us, take wrong turns trying to find that information out.
Yes.
So this is how we have so much child trafficking and all that stuff, because a lot of those kids, whether they were snatched up, how was it able to happen? Most times it must have been somebody wasn't paying attention and the child got snatched up. Right. I mean, and then you do have cases where it's forceful, and then the stuff that happens in the schools. I've seen a few of those videos where they had women. They got a lot of women that worked that circuit, because there's so much money involved. But you wouldn't believe that these people are trying to lure your child into a bathroom.
Yes.
I seen one video where the lady was talking to some girl. These are black people now.
Yep.
Talked to some girl in the bathroom stall. She's trying to lure her daughter, and the mom was cussing her out, and she kept going along with it. Like, come here, baby girl. And she's like, I'm about to fuck you up, and she just kept on going. Like, look, I said this in the video I made earlier, or it must have been yesterday. I think it was yesterday. You gotta really watch your surroundings, yo. Everybody don't everybody in your corner like that. You gotta really be careful about who you let into your life and your surroundings when you doing things. And when I say doing things, it could be, your work, your business, whatever like that. Because people copying your moves. In the black community, we don't have that many examples on how to do certain stuff.
Right.
So we have to go off of whoever we see becomes that guy or that woman. If their stuff is popping, like if y'all see me selling oils and incense, Then y'all see me get money, then everybody else gonna start doing it too.
Right.
He doing it, well, that's an option. So I could go see about that. Start getting me some oils, find out where the spot at. Find my own spot. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happened. Because we were one of the ones that did started selling the oils, incense, and started everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Selling DVDs and VHS tapes and all that type of stuff. Those little hustles. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the stuff we did to stay afloat. But it's different now. Because now cats that's selling DVDs, most people just download and watch everything off the internet.
True.
So it's like hard to make money off of that.
Right.
But some people still got DVD players and, would like to have a DVD. So it's like DVD and chill. But you got Netflix and chill.
True.
But most people don't want to, you got a lot of people in the hood that can't afford that $8 a month. They don't even got an internet account. They ain't even mess with that stuff unless it's on their phone.
Right.
Because you got some people that just are not internet savvy to this day. They just not in there. No Facebook, no Instagram, none of that. They just not into that. They just, do whatever they do. They just use their phone as a phone and might, play a game on there or something, but they not involved with it like that. So, but I would say to y'all should get up to date. Damn, man. Shoot, the world would be a lot better if y'all got up to date. Shoot, y'all holding us back. You know why they don't have flying cars?
Why?
Because of niggas.
Why?
Because they scared niggas gonna take them cars and be stealing them. A flying car, somebody gonna get jacked for that shit. Some nigga somewhere. It don't even have to be a black person. It could be a white person. Just because they want to see how it fly, whatever, and break into the place where they store them at or wherever at the hangar or whatever. And somebody, trying, some old Van Diesel shit, like,
Yeah.
We want to steal the flying car. Now, the bad part of it is you mess up and crash. Now, you still get messed up. You can get messed up on the ground, but you pretty much doomed in the air.
Right.
Like, if you fall from out the sky, you got some altitude, brother. It's kind of a wrap. You kind of don't want to really mess with that. Because what if, like, the new theft thing is, if you in a stolen car like a Tesla, they could, like, track you everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, you could be flying and they could shut the shit off for you. You could just fall out the sky. On purpose. On purpose. They know that they had to kill you or nothing like that, but they say, we're going to make an example out of this motherfucker. We're going to shut the shit out of the sky and let it crash somebody's house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is how stuff work, yo. Like, the world is crazy. That Matrix stuff is real.
Yes.
Like, it's not really, everything not really same. You know what I mean? We're about to jump into the event section of the show. Anything because y'all know you had some promotion or something you want to say, right? We might as well go ahead and do that now.
No, he was really just playing.
Oh yeah. Okay. You just playing.
Yeah,
well, I'm gonna give some quick shout outs to our listeners. If I could get the page to come out. Shout out to Germany. Lerherty Nerdashashin. See, can't even pronounce some stuff, but I see y'all listening. Good afternoon. Can you pronounce that?
Let me see.
This right here.
I see Germany. It's Larry.
See something that popped up with you. It's live. All right, shout out to Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, Houston, Texas, Levin Manawatu, Wangwadi, New Zealand. I know I messed that name up. I always do this all the time, so y'all got a problem. I'm trying to give y'all shout outs. Right. Cebu City, Cebu, Philippines. Shout out to Kilawana, British Columbia, and Canada. Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, they listening. Shout out to Chicago, Illinois, Allen, Texas, Anor, South Carolina, Olympia, Washington, and Big R, Saskatchewan, Canada. See, I like reading off sometimes because I ain't never heard of these places.
Yeah.
Look. Did you can't tell me you knew about this place in college or high school?
No.
See, these places, like, I'd be mad at our teachers, like, man, y'all ain't never teach us about these places. Like, when you took geography and all that, you ain't get all these places. Because I would have remembered some of them. I remember the certain stuff you had in school, certain school projects. Whoever heard of Warsaw, Mazowiki. What the hell? It went up. Hold on. It was Mazowiki something. It probably went down. But
It's Polish.
yeah,
Poland.
Poland. I think it was Poland.
Yeah, it's from Poland.
Yeah, I've never heard of that place. You know, these are not like places that you could go vacation. You notice that when you go take a vacation, they got standard places.
Yep.
They don't be having all these places. Like you in slavery just with your vacation purpose, your vacation tactics. They don't even give you all the places that you can go. You gotta like have the Warsaw, Mazowiecki, Poland. So you gotta have like a private plane, somebody to take you there. Like how you gonna get the Vergara National Capital Region in the Philippines? They probably don't even let Americans there.
Right.
Like you know what I'm saying? But they listening to Hamilton radio. In the forest, the jungle, wherever they at on these islands and stuff. So that's deep. You know, they listening to Hamilton radio wherever they at because, you know, they got the phones and all that stuff. And the station's been around for a long time, since 97. So we got a little advantage on people. And let's see. This is New Jersey. Jersey City. We got 195,716 hits from Jersey City right now. And Trenton in our hometown, we holding it down at 6,606. So they must have been on for a while. That's all. What's this? September? Yep, that's for today. September 3rd. It's the 4th now. Shoot. It's good to have all these listeners and stuff. We still working on sponsorship and stuff like that. But a lot of people just can't believe it. Like, wow, you got that many listeners all around the world. Yep, and it's just the States.
Right.
Like, I be wanting to concentrate on the different countries and stuff like that. You know, because, you know, when you acknowledge these people, every once in a while they will call. Like, so like, yeah, but, you know, they're calling and talk. But my show is just one of them shows where most people like to sit in and just listen, you know, because you're not going to hear this on the other show, some of the stuff we talk about. Maybe, you know, people like Cy Netter, or Phil Valentine. They're not really talk show hosts. Those are like actual teachers and stuff. So as the talk show host thing, it's, you know, I bring out different people and we talk and have guests. But when I'm by myself, I will teach, and then you know I use the videos for that, and then just like all these places around the world, look at all of that. Like you just, and these in the single digits. I'm gonna go to the bottom. You know what I'm saying? We got one person in Norfolk Island, Christmas Island. You know, most people talk about Christmas Island.
Right.
You reach it, and it's like they usually on a lot. So who's out? Shout out to y'all, because I like to look at the
wow.
Yeah, I like to look at the underdogs, like the one person in this country.
The bottom of the gun.
You know what I'm saying? But then it goes all the way up, all the way up. You got all these countries, stuff. These countries that people have never heard of. Who to know that there's a Myanmar country? That's a Myanmar, Belarus. You know, that's a country. Some of these you heard of. Latvia. Who knows that Latvia was a country? You know about that? You know, I didn't know about that because I'm calling out ones I never heard of. Brunei Darussalam. I never heard of that. You know, I didn't get taught none of that. And then I went to private school too. So, you know, we had advanced stuff, but it just, I think just some of this that wasn't, you know, the focus. They just focused on the certain ones. So shout out to all y'all listening. So we had that whole time. That was like a whole extended thing. We're going to the event section. All right. The event section is what I do usually every week, especially when I have a guest to talk about the week's event or your thoughts and feelings, kind of like the final thought thing. So Z Vega, you going to go first, and then I'm going to go, and we going to do it like that.
Well, my event for this week is based off of Capitol Hill and the stimulus package. Pretty much, I believe that people are suffering, and it's not a Democratic or a Republican individual problem. This is a humanitarian problem, and I just feel that everyone should come together, and they should help to do what's best to make sure that everyone is taken care of. The businesses don't close down. The kids are back in school. I mean, what happened to sweeping the streets with disinfect? We didn't do that here in America. Come on, people. But we'll talk about that next show. And, yeah, just come together, people. This is a humanitarian problem. It's not about Democrats or Republicans. It's about the people. we are the people. So if we are the people, stop letting us down. Right now, what we're seeing, we're being let down. So that's my event for this week.
Yeah, you know, stuff is just messed up. Yeah, I feel you on that. Okay, my event for this week is it's been crazy, but real enlightening. Got podcast there coming up with New Jersey B Man. We starting it Monday. That's been crazy. We're kind of like really spending a lot of time putting together equipment, and all that type of stuff, and just kind of contemplating on how that's going to be because he has his personality, I got mine. Just for like doing it, so I do the talk host thing. He does the whole weed coalitionist thing, and he running for Senate. So like riding around with him is crazy because we got people that know both of us. Like because he got that truck and it's like the pop mobile look like a state trooper car, but as you see people, he get a lot of attention like that, and then he got smoke coming out of it and all that type of stuff. So like y'all might see us roll up because we're gonna be on the road with it, and it's gonna be crazy, yo. I don't talk about the whole weed thing as much because of my audience. I don't want them to think I just about one type of thing, but yes, I gets it in, and it's about to be crazy. So the main thing is we want to push the medicinal purposes of it, because so many people were stubborn to that because of law.
Right.
Just because it's a law don't make it right. Slavery was legal also, and the police started out as the slave patrol, and a lot of them is still doing that. So that's my vent. You know what I mean? And one more. Had a good time with my daughter. Shout out to Alicia. We, every time I get to spend with my kid is always like crazy, like a good crazy, like because you learn different stuff about yourself. When your kids get older, you see things that they do reflected on you, like mannerisms and stuff that they may have, and then you could tell them, well, you might have got that from me, or certain parts of like, oh, you got that from your mama. That's where that came from. And it help them understand themselves better because that's part of having knowledge of self.
Right.
Part of knowledge of self is you have to consult your parents, if you can, or anybody in your bloodline to teach you about where you came from, so you can explain yourself. Sometimes an example of you have to dig from the past to get you understand your future.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like understand your lineage, who you were, who your bloodline is. It give you a little bit more pride because most of us need that to let you know our history didn't start with slavery. We was kings and queens, goddesses and gods.
Yes.
And there's a whole lot of stuff going on that you don't even know.
Right.
Open your mind.
Right.
Like, this probably gonna be one of the few shows that even talk like this, talk about open your mind. Everything else, they're gonna bombard you with the sports, they're gonna bombard you with the regular news, all that stuff. All I'm telling you is open your mind up. This is a universal show, even though I mostly talk about black people, but if you any other ethnic, you can get, you understand certain things you go through, no matter how savage you is. You understand how life could be. Stuff get rough out here.
Right.
You know what I mean? People is crazy, yo. Y'all, feeling like I said with the Civil War. If this Civil War that they're trying to start now, with the whites and blacks, more white folks will be fighting white folks than black people fighting white folks. Like it is right now.
Right.
Who doing all the protests? It ain't really us. We ain't trying to be out there getting hit with them motherfucking hoses and shit. That was back in Martin Luther King Day. We ain't trying to go through that. But you see them white folks out there getting hit with them things that, they getting gassed and rubber bullet and all that stuff. You say the boy done shot 2 protesters. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's getting heavy. Now you got protesters with guns. Now with just sticks and bats or just them standing on the highway. Now they got guns.
Right.
So see, we chilling where we at. We chilling. We ain't got a lot of protest stuff going on like that, like in these areas. But in the South, a lot of other areas, that every day it has not stopped since the George Floyd thing. Yeah. They wilding. We lucky.
Right.
We lucky. They trying to open up a little bit, open the theaters up and stuff. We supposed to be able to go in the restaurants now at 25 cent per capacity. Yeah. After this show, I'm gonna test that because, hey, Rube, after the show.
What's up?
After the show, we gonna test the theory if they letting people in. So we gonna have to go to a restaurant or diner somewhere and see if they let us in.
Now.
Well, somebody might be open. They might just like
what Wawa.
I mean, no, like Pets or somebody might be open. It's the new thing they've been on. You know what I'm saying? Because they just passed it. So.
Well, remember I said that yesterday. I said they're gonna allow 25% in.
So yeah, so
but they might still have the same schedule because a lot of places close at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. I think they lifted some of that too. We'll find out. We'll find out after the show.
Okay, we'll find out.
All right, are you playing that video again?
No, I just walked back in not too long ago.
What y'all got going on out there? I heard something in the background.
He said 7-Eleven is open.
7-Eleven.
You can always get a hamburger bite.
About no damn 7-Eleven.
You can eat from Apu.
You know what? You know what?
Or a grilled hot dog.
You know, he being funny. He's being funny. It's something open besides that. He's probably right. He probably ain't nothing but open because, you know.
Wendy's.
But I'm saying, like, being that they lifted it, some people might have to stay open later to get that extra money.
Yeah.
They might not, you know, be going against the law mandate to say, well, I'm going to push it. Because everybody not going for the law. Some people like, man, I got my business. I'm going to just take a risk. They're going to have to come shut me down. I got to make some money.
Right.
So I'm trying to support them. If you bold enough, and everybody ain't wilding out over the mask. There's some people, you know, it's easy. You can walk in there. You might say, put your mask on, but if you don't, okay. Because they want to make the money. They ain't got time to be battling nobody over these stupid-ass laws. But if can't nobody be in their store and they fighting with everybody, ain't making no money. More businesses have closed in the past 5 months since this COVID started than probably the history of this country in like such a short time. There was a few of us be able to stay afloat in this, and we lucky to be here. But it is what it is. So I done went 12 minutes over time, but you know why? Because it's my show. And I'm one of the owners of Hamilton Radio, and I'm here with new co-host Z Vega.
Peace.
Got to put something on that Vega on there.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. I'm going to be coasting that 45-minute ride.